welcome to Let's Talk About Live Shopping, a series dedicated to unraveling the intricacies of the live shopping phenomenon. I'm your host, Cynthia Nelson, three-time entrepreneur, Forbes contributor, investor, and advisor. Today, we're talking to Mike Kohner, CEO of Automatic Slims. Hey, good morning, Mike, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Mrs. President. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I can never get away from that one for sure.
Never.
That one stuck. We have known each other quite a long time. First up, I kind of want to know Automatic Slims. You have a long background in entertainment and hospitality. I want to know how Automatic Slims and kind of Web3 collided and what you're doing with it.
Sure. So a group of guys in South Florida started a chain of rock and roll bars in the early 2000s, and that name was Automatic Slims. We had an unbelievable run, worked with celebrities, worked with lifestyle brands, worked with, lots of liquor companies, did a lot of fun activations because it was an American brand focused on what we call Americana and designed by an architectural time called GUI architecture. So it was really fun, and it was oversized signs that you'd see in Palm 66, Route 66, and in Southern Cali back in the day when that was your marketing budget, was this really cool sign to get tourists to come in and check it out. We shrunk those down, put them in the bar, and we were off to the races. Shut everything down in 2009, did my first tech startup where you were my first president, so you will always be Mrs. President to me. And then in maybe 3 years ago, we launched a blockchain platform to authenticate products online because there's a lot of fake things out there. So we're helping brands protect IP and help consumers trust that they're going to get something, it's not a knockoff. And when we built that B2B model, it's very confusing to a Web2 audience. So we built a marketplace in a video game so that we could teach folks, on the consumer side, how it works. And so we chose Decentraland, which is a Web3 video game. And we've been open since October 2022. And we've done about 50 activations with brands, event companies, and influencers. And we're looking to really evangelize this model of you can go into video games now and you can see products that are real and not just get digital, but now you can get physical through the mail.
So if I was in the game space, or I was actually looking to talk to people in the game space, because there's Decentraland, Roblox, or how you say Roblox.
Fortnite,
I never
Sandbox, yeah,
Fortnite, Sandbox. There's a
there's a
bunch of
bunch.
different ones. So if I was
Yeah,
going after, those audiences, what would it look like kind of inside? Could you recreate my store inside of, a Web3 environment? And then what do people do? They go in and pick product and then does it get shipped directly to you? Like, how does that whole transaction work?
great questions. So we're always thinking about what can we do as a digital twin. So do you have an IRL in real life experience like an iconic retail store in a key city, or do you have some pop-up you've done at a special event that really resonated with your audience? We can then create a digital twin of that experience, put it into a scene in the video game, run the scene, capture all the metrics on who comes into the scene, what their wallet looks like. So now you're building, a Web3 database of consumers that are engaging with your brand. And then that 3D scene, we always pair with a 2D scene, which is typically a Shopify store. So when somebody goes to purchase something, because it's interesting in that environment, one, we want them to know it's for sale in the real world. So we'll have a
Right.
digital menu in the scene. Two, they'll get a 3D version of the product or the experience. And then when they click on that hyperlink, it will take them to a Shopify store for the purchase. When they purchase, we will send that order to a 3PL fulfillment, depending on who is shipping and managing your physical inventory. And
Mhm.
everybody through our model gets an NFT that's a digital title from the brand authenticating that product.
So there's no, if you had Gucci, for example, in there, right? Cool brand, great product, and I went to buy it, I'm guaranteed that not only am I getting the NFT certification, but I'm really getting a real product that's coming from Gucci. It's already been authenticated through blockchain, so I don't have to worry about, fake crazies.
Yeah, and so the two options are you get an authentic title from the brand, or you get the authentic title from the third party that verifies
Got it.
for that brand.
Got
So
it.
we work with either, and sometimes we have third parties that's their role and that's what they're known for, and then we have brands that authenticate their own products.
That's very cool. I heard you were just at Art Basel. I mean, you are in Florida, but you're in Art Basel. What did you guys do there? What was the whole,
So
what was your pop-up and your Web3 experience?
So we did two events. The first event was with Slip and Slide Records, which is one of our partners, and they did an activation with Andrew Skate, which is this super cool skate shop in Miami. They also own Skate 11, this awesome skate park here. And so they did a merchandise drop together, and Trick Daddy and Trina performed, and we did this at the Soho House Friday night. So it was just a really fun experience. So we took the day of the event, they dropped the merchandise online through the Andrew Skate website. We put hyperlinks to the merchandise collection in the scene in Decentraland, promoted it to the 3.5 million followers in Decentraland, so you could come in, see the content, click on a product that was interesting, which were it was like skateboards, t-shirts, sweatshirts, a jacket, a couple of like iconic hats, and like the cover you put on your record if you're
Yeah,
spinning records. And
yeah.
so all of those was a digital watch party in Decentraland, but they were linked back to Andrew Skate to sell. And then the collection was also showcased at the event in real life. So imagine we had an IRL experience and we had a URL experience, so that people that couldn't come to Miami got to see some of the culture and some of the cool content. That's what we did on Friday. And then on Saturday, we worked with a company called Block Party, and they featured 40 different artists. And so in real life, they took basically like a Miami hat shell, this little cool park with probably 20 video screens around the whole place, and they were showcasing NFTs that were these specific artists' art for sale. And then we did a digital watch party for that in our scene in Decentraland and Slims, and you could click on those in the game experience and then go right to the website to purchase one of those NFTs and transfer it to your wallet.
That's very cool. And then live shopping in Web3, like
Yes.
is it coming? Is it there? Are you doing stuff already? What's happening?
So yes, it's here. It's very early. It's very exciting for us. So let's just say there's 400 video games that have a super unique audience that are
Yeah.
coming in on a regular basis. Those video games have their own marketplace built into their system, and they will take between 30 and 50% off any virtual products. So people that go into video games, they want virtual clothing, they want virtual accessories, they want virtual tools or guns to play in whatever game that they're in. We are hitting this interesting inflection point where we want to offer physical goods in these environments. And there's two ways of doing it. The first is we go with the brand directly to the game. We make a deal with the game. They feature the brand's physical goods in their virtual store, or the game allows us to embed hyperlinks into specific scenes. We operate that scene. Folks come in, interact. They click on a hyperlink. It goes out to a Shopify account. Everything is authenticated the same model. You get a digital title, which is a physical NFT. But then you put in your name, email address, and information, and then you get it through the order form, and now you're going to get something physical in the real world delivered to your doorstep. So there's virtual goods, there's physical goods, and they call them phygitals. That's
Yeah.
kind of a new term that people are using, and I'm trying to not overuse it, but explain what it means because it is an interesting concept. And we think that phygitals are physical goods embedded in video game activations in 2024. There's going to be some awesome use cases, and we're super excited to be involved in some of those ourselves.
That it kind of comes to my last kind of question, which is always about where is it all going? Because it's going so fast, right? If you were
Mm-hmm.
going to make some predictions for 2024 in live shopping with Web3, digital, what would you say are like kind of the big hits people should be looking at?
I think you should look at the bigger games, the Fortnites. I think there's going to be something cool with Rockstar when Grand Theft Auto comes out, but now I just heard it might not come out till 2025. But these experiences are going to be big. So you're going to see like an iHeartRadio or somebody Monster or a Live Nation do a major event with that physical redemption. But where I can think of 50 brands right now that are trying to scope this out. The most exciting thing that I see that we're working on right now as a case study, we're working with some delivery services. So we're going to get a couple of gamers to do a 2-hour Twitch stream. And during the stream, certain viewers in specific zip codes are going to get a phygital or a physical product delivered to their doorstep. Because if they put the order in the first 10 minutes of the game, they guarantee fulfillment and delivery to your house within 90 minutes. So we're actually going to get people receiving products from a live experience activation. And those use cases, I think, will determine, how big and how quickly this can scale. But, this is something I've loved since I was a little kid with the Jetsons, and we are very close, and we're going to be exploring some of these unique opportunities this year. And as long as everything is authenticated and people feel confident they're not getting a fake product, they're going to try these things, especially if it's a collectible or it's a limited edition you can only get by going to this event or going to this influencers activation. And that's where we want to be. And those are the folks that, we're focusing our time on.
Yeah, I don't even think today it's just the cool like Supreme or the Puma brands, or like it's not even just those guys. I think it's like Walmart.
Yes.
It's like it's people you don't naturally think are looking at this kind of technology are actually looking at this technology really closely and trying to figure out how does that work, within their existing ecosystem, right?
Yep. And so when we talk to the Walmarts and the media buyers for companies that size, we have to take a Web 2 tone with them. And so we have to speak in terms and KPIs and analytics that they're comfortable with
Right,
as we slowly dip their toe in the Web 3 pool. Because if they can understand the metrics and they can see the ROI,
right,
this is so my explanation is, and when I grew up in the 90s, we would go to the mall, and the mall would pack with kids, and you were 10 years old and you got dropped off by your mom, and you
yeah,
tried not to get beat up by the high school kids for 3.5 hours and have fun and have adventures. Those malls now aren't as busy as they were because
right,
those kids, that same demographic, they're spending their days in video games.
yeah,
So now we're giving brands a way to put the posters up and the activations and the awareness in these video games with high traffic, and then give safe, clean activation so that these consumers can say, wow, I'm watching something. This is a cool scene. This is a cool person. I want that. And I can make a confident, instantaneous impulse purchase through the app, through the game, and then it's going to get delivered to me IRL. Those experiences are going to be a lot of fun, and I see a lot of entertainment and a lot of brands that will be trying these things, this year. And it's actually it's very doable, and no one's done some of these ones yet that are super simple. So we're excited, and we think we're going to have, we're going to probably have three by Q3 that are going to be national live experiences with fulfillment within 2 hours, and that's going to be a pretty fun metrics to see how that rolls out.
I'm super excited for 2024. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Signing off as Mrs.
Thank you,
President.
Mrs. President. Appreciate you and have a great holiday. Talk
You
soon.
too.